Howdy folks, how are y'all doing? My name is Reese, and welcome back to the Minecraft 2025 Let's Play Adventure, where today is not going to be a fun or enjoyable episode, because today's entire episode is going to be built around me being tortured, by which I mean I'm headed back to the island of dirt and stone to fill up some more shulker boxes with dirt and stone. That's pretty much the whole episode, and unlike last time, where we did Bible time with Reese, I don't really have any discussion topics lined up. There's nothing I want to talk about. That literally, I've talked myself out with this series. Remember early on this year, at the beginning of this series, when we were talking about things like, oh, the Switch 2 is going to come out, the Switch 2 came out. I've barely played it. I actually picked up secondhand, because I'm at a point now where I really don't know if I want to give Nintendo any of my money, the kind of BS they've been pulling here recently. And I was like, I'm going to pick up secondhand the Donkey Kong game. So I picked that up. And when I say secondhand, it was new, it was sealed. But it was just, I got it offline for less than I would have paid. And the money, you know, this is not the portal I meant to go through, but it's fine, it's close enough. The money didn't go to Nintendo. You know, someone else bought it, it went to some other person. What a convoluted way of explaining what I did. What a convoluted way of explaining that, oh, this is all part of Dirt Island as well. I don't know why, but I never really associated it with Dirt Island. Yeah, no, look, like, someone bought it from Nintendo at some point, so Nintendo made their money, but instead of making their money off of that guy and me, they just made their money off that one guy. Thank heavens for physical media, as it has saved me from giving Nintendo any of my own money. And hopefully we'll continue to do that many times in the future. But I picked up the Donkey Kong game. I haven't played it yet. I haven't played it yet at all. And the only thing I care about from Nintendo at this point in my life, in my adult life, is more Xenoblade. And so until we get some Xenoblade, like, I know they just put out Xenoblade Chronicles X Remastered. It's great. You know, it's the definitive version of the game. It's not called Remastered. Isn't it called Definitive Edition? Maybe I'm misremembering. It's great. But I'm basically just waiting for patches to make it run better on Switch 2. I know it and the other three games all run kind of better on the Switch 2, but, like, there's no shot that they're not working on some substantial upgrades. And I was like, where are they? So I'm waiting on those. And then more recently, I feel like something came out on Switch 2. I thought about getting... Oh, you know what? The new Mario Galaxy games. Yeah, I'll probably do the same thing I did with Donkey Kong. But, like, why would I've played the first one. I've played a little bit of the second one. When I say I never played the second one, I guess what I should say is I never finished it, but I had it on the original Wii, and played it a bit on there. But I've never played Mario Galaxy 2 all the way through to completion. I played Mario Galaxy 1 all the way through to completion on the Wii, not realizing that the TV I had it hooked up to had just horrible input latency. I thought the game was just really hard. Played it again on Switch as part of the anniversary bundle, and boy howdy, was that an overall better experience. Not just because it was, you know, a slight visual improvement, but also it just ran like so much better. And I mostly played it in handheld, but when I did play it on the TV, I have a better TV now with a much lower input latency. You know, so it wasn't so miserable an experience. Oh, this is all for the roof of the Nether, by the way, in case you were wondering why I'm here collecting all this grass and dirt. Thought maybe it was just for fun, a fun way to pass time. No, it's to continue that project, because we gotta finish it before the end of the year. You know what, I'm not gonna worry about collecting it. I'm gonna worry about cutting it all down, and then we'll jump in the water and grab it. This will be much faster this way. Just kind of go ham. Yeah, I'll play that eventually on there. I'll play the two Mario games. That'll be fun. I think that'll be a good time. Maybe we'll stream some of it. I have no intention of streaming through the entirety of it, but that could be fun. I don't hate Nintendo product. As discussed every time we've talked about Nintendo, I like Nintendo games. It really is the company and the corporate element of it that I find to be repulsive, repugnant, and absolutely worthy of scorn and disdain. The way that they treat their most loyal customers, their most loyal fans, how hostile they are towards them, really sickens me. It grinds my gears. And it's awful, because they could just choose to be different, and they don't. So, there's very few other companies in gaming that are as just foul as them, Epic being one of them. I discovered the other day that Epic fanboys exist. It's perverse. How disgusting. How pathetic do you have to be as a human being to be an Epic fanboy? One of the worst companies in gaming, Epic. Imagine being an Epic fanboy. Sure, if you like Fortnite, you like Fortnite. I can't help you there. You know, that's your problem. The highest paid therapist couldn't help you with that issue, but even so, you know, you like it, that's fine. But going out of your way to support, like, an anti-consumer company that, like, literally just, like, does all that it can to milk its fans for every penny they're worth, I don't know. It's disgusting. Also, their store sucks. The Epic Store sucks. They give away free games. Yes, they do. Do you want to know why the Epic Store doesn't have a proper review system? It's because they're corporate shills. Video game studios and publishers, not studios, I should always state, especially the independents, studios aren't the bad guys. It really is the corporate publishers that are the bad guys here. These stooges, right, they don't want you to have the ability to rate their games in a place where people who are buying the games can see their reviews, right? They don't like that. A lot of them actually hate that Steam has a review section, because they don't want you negatively reviewing their slop and their trash and their garbage. They don't want that. That's what they like about Epic, is that there is no review section. So, you know, people can't go on there and see that the game is broken or boring or a rehash of previous titles and you're better off saving your money and buying this other thing on sale. They don't want to see that. They don't want you to have access to that. And that is why Epic is unlikely to ever add it, because they're not actually interested in adding value to the consumer. They're interested in making money. That's the difference between them and Steam. And they like to come out and be like, we're fighting Steam. Steam, they've got a monopoly. They don't have a monopoly. Anyone can make a store on PC. Okay? Just because no one wants to use other people's inferior stores doesn't mean that Steam has a monopoly. And the way that Epic goes about fighting Steam's, in quotes, monopoly also sucks. Because it's all about, like, we're going to give money to developers to get exclusivity, so that you have no choice but to buy the game on our platform. The exact opposite of taking down monopolies, like, you're literally forging one. That's what you're doing. When you buy exclusivity to games and say this is the only place you can get it, that is what a monopoly is. The dumbest take that I've seen recently from the mentally deficient who support Epic and their nonsense is that, PC people always complain about console wars, and now they're basically having a console war when they complain about Epic versus Steam. No, it's literally the exact opposite, you stupid idiot. We don't believe in console wars or console exclusivity because we think you should be able to play whatever you want on whatever platform you want. That's the whole point of PC gaming, is that everything you could possibly want to play is available on the PC. I think all PlayStation games should be on Xbox, all Xbox games should be on PlayStation, and all Xbox and PlayStation games should be on PC, and you can play whatever you want, wherever you want, and that's the future we should work towards. And by having platform exclusivity on PC, that is literally doing the opposite. This isn't a console wars style argument. It's not that I want the games on my platform and not Epic. Put the games on Epic. Put the games on GOG. Good platform. But also put them on Steam. They should be everywhere. So if I want to buy them on a platform I actually use and want to use, a platform that actually does things I care about, then I could buy them on that platform. I'm a Linux gamer. Even if I wasn't, I'd still prefer Steam for a variety of other reasons, but as a Linux gamer, 5 years ago, Linux gaming was a joke. And I'll tell you what, there are a lot of people in the industry, there are a lot of, individuals who have donated their time into getting things like Wine, really improving it and making it good for gaming. Someone like Glorious Eggroll, who made the distribution that I'm using called Nobara Linux. We wouldn't be where we are without people like that. But by and large, you know who really made the difference? Do you know who really made Linux gaming a thing? It was Valve. Valve did, not just with the Steam Deck, but with their entire SteamOS project. They made Linux gaming what it is today. It literally would be nothing like it is right now if not for them. I wanted to switch to Linux for a really long time, but that was the problem. It's like, well, I'm not, switching off of Mac OS because I like to use Final Cut Pro, and on my gaming PC, I have to use Windows because that's what the games are made for. So as much as I'd like to hop on the Linux bandwagon, the free and open source bandwagon, the FOSS bandwagon, it was just impractical for me until Valve really kicked things into high gear with SteamOS, with the Steam Deck, with Proton, which they started before they even announced the Steam Deck. Everyone was like, what exactly are they playing at over here? What is their goal? We didn't know they were going to revolutionize the handheld gaming space as well, in a way that arguably not even Nintendo did. It's a very different product. It's a very different product, the Steam Deck. I know a lot of people like to compare them. Listen, you're not playing whatever retro game you want to on the Nintendo Switch. You can play the ones that Nintendo will allow you to, the ones that Nintendo decide that they're going to let you play. Play whatever you want to on the Steam Deck. It's awesome. And you can play like full-fat PC games on there. I've been playing Final Fantasy 16 on there. I've been playing the recent Trails in the Sky first chapter on there. Is that out for Switch? I think that it is. But it doesn't matter, because if I want to play that game in ultra-wide, which you can't do on a Switch, I can play it on my PC, on my ultra-wide monitor, and then, save the game, close the game, pick up my my portable. I don't even have... I have a Steam Deck, but I don't use the Steam Deck. I've been gaming on a Lenovo Legion Go S, which is a much better value than the Lenovo Legion Go 2, but that's a whole thing. But that comes with SteamOS on it. Just pick it up and immediately start playing on there. That's a whole Nintendo conversation, though. That's not what we're here to discuss. We're here to talk about, it's hard to do that with Epic, because Epic has no interest in supporting Linux. Now, there are different ways of getting your Epic games running on PC. Sometimes, I will tell you, I got a trident out of that, I will get the free games from Epic. I will. And I will never put money down on that platform, but I'll take the free games. Thank you. Sweeney, or whatever the heck your name is. Thank you, Epic CEO, you goofy slime ball, for the free game. I appreciate it. I will never support your platform, but I will take your free games. And, I'll play them using the Heroic Launcher, for example, is a great offer. Or there's a couple of other platforms that you can get. There's one really cool one called Junk Store on SteamOS. I think in order to get GOG games on there, you have to pay... Maybe it's a license, maybe it's a one-time fee. I'll have to double-check. But GOG's really the way to go. If something's available on GOG, Humble Bundle I like as well. I love Humble Bundle. Now, those are just Steam keys. So you just turn around and start playing your Humble Bundle games. Give to charity, which is great. And then also get a ton of games for dirt cheap. And sometimes they have this crazy Lego one recently. That's, again, though, that's more of like a discussion of PC versus console, where it's like you're not getting Humble Bundles on console. You're not getting like all of the Lego games, the licensed Lego games for, I think it was $15. You're not getting that on there. That was a crazy one. I went through it and I already had most of them from Steam sales and stuff, but I sent that link around to some friends because there's a lot of friends who I know like the Lego Batman games in particular and the Lego Star Wars games, and they were in that bundle. I was like, look at this absurdity. It's great. I picked up one with all of the Dark Pictures games in it, as well as the 2 Little Nightmares games. Again, dirt cheap. And Steam keys. You know the reason you don't get those on Epic? You don't got Epic keys. It's because Epic doesn't care. Right? Like, that's the thing. Steam is a privately owned company. They care about making a profit, for sure. But they also don't have the same raw profit motive as a sort of wretched corporation. In case you didn't know, in the US at least, you are legally required, if you are a publicly traded company, which I believe Epic is. I might be wrong about that. They certainly act like they are, for sure. But you're required by law to do whatever you can legally to make as much money for shareholders as possible. If you ever wondered why these corporations do such evil, wretched things, it's not just because the people running them are evil or money hungry, like a lot of them are, but they actually have a legal requirement. I believe that was an issue with Ford, I think it was. I think Mr. Ford, back in the day, was CEO of Ford Motor Company, publicly traded, biggest mistake of his life right there. And he got sued by his shareholders because they believed they could make more money. And they went to court, where the court asked him, like, is what you're doing in the best interest? Honestly, he was too honest for his own good. He should have lied. What he should have said was, no, yeah, I believe taking care of the customer is going to make us more money in the long run. But for some reason, like under oath, he said, and I'm paraphrasing, that I don't care as much about making money for shareholders as I do taking care of customers. Again, paraphrasing. He should have made the argument, we'd be living in a different world if he made a better argument under oath that, taking care of customers was the best thing you could do for shareholders because repeat business and whatnot. But he lost. I believe he had his position stripped from Ford. And that has been the backbone of corporate America ever since. If you're a publicly traded company, whatever you can do to make as most money as possible, or you will be removed from your position of power by the shareholders. So really, when you're looking at evil corporations, you got to also blame the shareholders, because those stupid jackalopes, they hold these people's feet to the fire, but they don't also care about the company. That's the thing. That's the whole problem with the corporate system we've got now. People hate capitalism, but they don't hate capitalism. They hate corporatism, okay? The problem with corporatism is that you have a company, right? And it's a good company, and people love it, and they love the product, and then what happens? Okay, well, we're going to go public, right? And you think this is great because we're going to sell all these shares and make a bunch of money. And then what happens is the people who invest don't care about the company, nor do they care about the long-term success of the company. That's the dirty little secret about publicly traded companies. No one, when they buy stock, actually cares about whether or not the company does well. What they want is to take the stocks they just bought, hold them for a little while, and then sell them for a lot more. That's not the original idea. The original idea of investing in a company is that you hold those shares and you collect the dividends over time, and eventually you make back, what you invested, and then you just live off the dividends. But no. What it is now is it's all about the trade. I'm going to buy low, sell high. So you buy, this company hits the scene. It's publicly traded now. You buy a bunch of stock, and then you go, all right, well, I got to drum up the price of the stock so I can sell it for more money. And so you start milking the customer for everything it's worth. Excuse my cursing here, but the term that we have right now in the industry, and this is actually what people call it, is they call it enshittification. Okay, that's what they call it. And it's true. You got to make the product terrible, but you have to get as much money out of people as possible. Drive up the value of the company, because what drives up the value of the company is when you could point to a chart and say, look, last year we brought in $1 million of revenue, but this year we brought in $5 million of revenue. Ignore the fact that we lost half of our customers to free and open source alternatives, if it's software, or to some jumpstart, doesn't matter. The customer base we kept is paying more, and our reputation's in the toilet, and everyone hates us and is waiting for our downfall. But look, money went up, so now the value of the stock goes up. So then the person who originally bought the stock sells the stock, and then the next person does the exact same thing, and again and again and again until it's in the toilet, and then company goes bankrupt. Or sometimes they sell out to another company that's also publicly traded, who just kind of fix it a little bit, but then do the exact same process again. Sometimes companies will do this before they even go public, if they're just looking for a sale. Look, I don't want to pretend to know exactly what went wrong at Plex. I have a Plex server. Plex has fallen from grace in my eyes. I think that Plex has done a lot of really stupid things because Plex wanted to get their user numbers up so that they seem like a more valuable company. So what do? They start offering all these things that no one who uses Plex cares about. When they started offering free streaming of terrible movies and TV shows that no one cared about, and they started forcing that onto the homepage, and they started really pushing that even though no one asked for it, that's not what literally no one has Plex because they want to watch their terrible, crappy movie/TV show collection. Everyone who has Plex because they have their own media library that they want to stream at home and on the go. But at Plex, they're so mentally deficient, they got it in their heads we need to get numbers up so the company's worth more. We need to get numbers up. We got to get the number of signups. Oh, here's what we'll do. We'll offer some terrible movies and TV shows for streaming. And they're so dense and so stupid that they've made their product worse in order to attempt to increase the number of users that they have so that they can look more appealing to investors, someone in a buyout. They're not going to be publicly traded. Can you imagine? That's never going to happen, I don't believe. But the product's gotten worse to the fact that, my Plex server also now runs Jellyfin. Granted, it's not as good. I like Jellyfin. I would like it more. If they just refined it a little bit more. It is a free project, though, so it's one of those things where it's hard to complain when it's it's literally a free product. I'm not paying for it. I also got MB. MB is paid. MB reminds me a lot more of early Plex. I'm running all of these on the same server, by the way. And what's great is that they can all use the same media library. So it's not like I have to have all of the same files copy-pasted 3 times. They're all just running in separate containers. I'm using TrueNAS and TrueNAS Scale. It's all working well. I'm bouncing between them. As of right now, Plex still has the better interface and the better user experience. The other two are catching up, though. And there's enough irritating about Plex. They redesigned the mobile app, and it sucks now. It's actually... I saw people complaining online. I was like, I'm sure it's fine. It's just one of those things where people don't like change. And I opened it up, and I was like, oh, God, help me. Where is the home button? What have you done, you stupid jackalopes? What have you done to the app? They broke it. It sucks now. It actually does suck now. And they have no interest in fixing it. They got rid of a lot of features. Like, the podcast feature never worked the way it should have. Podcasts should have worked by automatically downloading podcasts to your server. That's what I wanted podcasts on Plex to be. And they just refused to make that. They're like, no, you can just stream podcasts in the app. No, you stupid idiot. This is a home media server. If I put podcasts on there, I want you to automatically download them and let me stream them from my home media server. Why are you dense? Why are you stupid? Why can't you do the basic thing that it should be expected your customers would want done? So now they've discontinued podcasts entirely. Because like, oh, the feature wasn't really used all that much. Yeah, because you didn't implement it right! It wasn't used all that much because you implemented it in the most brain-dead way possible, you stupid jackasses! Plex should be such an easy thing. It should be such an easy thing. It's so obvious what your customers want. Why are you so retarded? Now I'm all fired up. Now I'm all mad. You got me thinking about Plex. I had no intentions of talking through this. I was just going to come over here and collect dirt and keep my mouth shut and edit this down to like a 30-second video. And now instead you've got me just raging about Plex. I'm more upset with Plex than I am probably any other company. I'm probably more than any other corporation, any other company, because it used to be better, and now they plainly don't care. By the way, if you have any suggestions for a podcast service that I can run on TrueNAS scale that will automatically download every new episode of a podcast feed that I feed it, and let me stream from my server to my device those podcast episodes, please let me know. I'm thinking about maybe just setting up something on a Mac to automatically download them and put them into folders on the server, but then like, okay, well, what do I stream them to? I don't want to download them to my phone, and I don't want to stream them off of iTunes. I want to have the files saved, because sometimes podcasts go down and the episodes disappear, and you just kind of have to hope that you can find them on some strange dark corner of the internet. Like, okay, does anyone out there have all the episodes of this podcast? I just want to have something that automatically downloads them, puts them in a drive, and makes them accessible remotely with all of the correct metadata. If anything like that exists, Plex was too mentally deficient to make it happen for me. If anyone else out there has made it happen, I haven't checked. Maybe MB does it. I don't know. Maybe one of the other one of the other ones I mentioned. What was it? MB and Jellyfin. Maybe Jellyfin does. I don't know. But that's the kind of functionality I'm looking for. I'll pay for it. I'm not going to pay a subscription because I bought Plex Pass for life because I don't believe in monthly subscriptions. You know, I understand the concept of like, oh, you need to pay for upkeep of the software. That's fine. You know, another piece of software that I really like and have really liked is Affinity Photo. And I liked their previous model of, and I'll explain to you why it's better than what Adobe does, because I've tried explaining this to people before and they get bewildered and confused, I guess because they have low IQs. So let me explain it to you. You buy Affinity Photo. You own Affinity Photo. A couple years later, this is exactly what happened to me, Affinity Photo 2 comes out. Okay? It's an inexpensive upgrade. You buy that. And you're thinking to yourself, okay, well, how is that different than what Adobe does? With Adobe, you don't buy anything, but you basically license it. When new versions come out, you automatically download them. Isn't that the same thing? No, it's not the same thing. And I'll tell you why it's not the same thing. If you buy Affinity Photo, and in a year time, you decide not to buy Affinity Photo 2, you still have Affinity Photo. And it still works exactly the same, and it's not like it gets taken away from you. Whereas if you rent, effectively, Photoshop, which is what I did for 10 years, what a waste of money, the day you stop paying for Photoshop, you no longer have Photoshop. Photoshop is just gone now. That is the difference. You don't have to buy the upgrade to Affinity Photo, and if you don't, you still have Affinity Photo. If you decide not to pay for Photoshop anymore, you don't get any more Photoshop. So I'm happy to pay annually for upgrades, so long as it's not a license. And I'll tell you what Affinity Photo did. They went and they sold it to a company called Canva. Now Canva has made a subscription tier thing. And I'm like, what is this? I don't even know. Can you still buy Affinity Photo? To be fair, I'm not sure. You might still be able to buy Affinity Photo. I haven't checked. All I know is I got a message that, hey, come see the future. And the future sucked. It was a subscription service I don't want. Unfortunately, I still have Affinity Photo and Affinity Photo 2. Both of those apps still run, and I can still use them, and there's nothing wrong with them. And barring some upgrade to macOS that breaks them, they'll continue to work just fine. So I never have to pay for Canva's crappy subscription service that no one asks for or wants. I don't have to ever worry about that. For as long as I live, I never have to worry about that because I've got the software and I can continue to use it. I need to look into that, though. Can you actually still buy? Because that's what I recommend when anyone asks me, like, did you use Photoshop? No, I don't. Particularly for thumbnails, right? I don't use Photoshop. People ask me sometimes. You're paying a subscription to make YouTube thumbnails is stupid. When you can just look, if you do it, I'm not calling you stupid. I'm just saying, for what I do, Affinity Photo crushes it, and that's what I've always just recommended to people when they've asked, like, hey, what do you use? Affinity Photo, 100% every day. Great software, great, fantastic software. Highly recommended. This is what I was looking for down here. GIMP also exists. I know it's a funny name, but it's the GNU image processing. GNU, G-I-M-P. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that GNU image manipulation. What is it? Projects? Maybe I think that's what the acronym stands for. I could be wrong. If you're not familiar with Photoshop or anything else, just go ahead and learn GIMP. Honestly, if you're just trying to make thumbnails, I've downloaded it before. I've kind of understood it. It's got a little bit of a learning curve, but that's only because I'm coming from, like, Affinity Photo and Photoshop, the two things that I actually know how to use. If you don't know how to use any type of program for photo manipulation, there's a ton of free resources online teaching you how to use GIMP. You might as well just go ahead and learn GIMP, because there's not going to be that same learning curve. Like, for you, if you've never done it before, every program you use is going to have a learning curve. So you might as well just go for GIMP. It's free for life. It's very well maintained. New features are constantly being added. You're not going to get a lot of the AI tools, I don't believe, that you're going to get with some of these paid softwares. But again, free for life. And when I say free, I mean truly free and open source. It's FOSS in the truest sense of the word. You don't have to pay for it. And if you decide, hey, I've got a little bit of programming know-how, I want to modify this, you can do that. I don't know the exact license, but I would imagine, considering it's from GNU, it's a GNU project, you're probably free to distribute that changed software if you see fit, but don't take my word for it. Double check the license always. That's beautiful right there. That's beautiful. But if you want a more polished experience, I'm actually going to crawl up here to where I'm possibly slightly more safe. Let me get up high where I can look around and make sure I'm not being crept up upon. I'm going to look up real quick Affinity Photo and see if you can still buy it. Creative freedom that's actually free. Oh, okay. Is it actually just free now, what they've done? Okay, Affinity by... Okay, yeah, you can just download... From the looks of things, you can just download Affinity. What is this called now? Affinity Studio? It looks like it's all in one now. It might be Photo and Designer all rolled into one. And then you get more with the subscription. Well, okay. You gotta tell me what the subscription... Yeah, here we go. The all-in-one creative app with everything you need to craft designs, edit images, and lay it all out without ever leaving your document or paying a thing. Well, that's kind of cool that it's free, but there's a Canva account. To download Affinity, sign in with your Canva account, or create one for free. Okay, let's see what you get here. Hold on just a second. I've got to fight this stupid thing. Okay, it looks like everything is the same between the paid and the free version, except if you have the Canva, what do they call it? Premium plan. Yeah. You get access to generative fill, expand and edit, generative image and vectors, remove background and subject selection, colorize, depth selection, and super resolution, portrait blur and portrait lighting, and full AI generation history. So a bunch of AI crap, basically. In that case, I'm going to go ahead and say maybe do, like, I don't like the fact that you have to have their account, but you have to have a Serif account anyway in order to use Affinity Photo, so I guess this isn't really all that different. The fact that it's free is kind of cool, but I wish you could just buy the program because it's free right now. You know what I mean? They could change their mind at any point, and that's what I don't like about this, is that as of right now, it looks like Affinity Studio is a free product that you can download and use, and that's neat, but at any point, they could decide that's not the case anymore, and then you just lose access to that software, whereas, you know, like I said, I bought Affinity Photo 1 and 2, I will forever have access to that software. They can't take it away from me. You know, they can't sign in and remove it from my computer. Someday they might remove the ability to download it, but I've saved the installation files. And someday it might stop working on my computer, and that'll be a shame. I'll just move on at that point, but I'm not going to I'm not going to pay a subscription fee. I'm not going to rent software. It's not going to happen. I wonder if that means they're done with development on Affinity Photo 2 as well, because they just rolled out some really cool, like speaking of AI, they rolled out a new AI-powered selection tool, which was actually very impressively good. But if I have to, I can just use the one built into my iPhone to cut things out and then airdrop them to my computer. Lame as that is, I'm not paying a subscription fee to use basic AI toolsets. These are things that are only going to get like better and better and better, and eventually become available for free in GIMP, right? Like, at the end of the day, all of these tool sets, you can already download most AI things for free and run them on your own hardware. Like, most AI not bots, but like AI language like large language models is what I'm trying to say. A lot of AI tools are just freely available already. So I don't imagine that's going to change anytime soon. All of that to say, you know, if you're hitching your cart to the AI wagon here, as Canva clearly is, and dragging Affinity down with it, it's not going to get you very far. Which is, again, why I'm saying it's a little concerning. Like, right now, 99% of what you'd want to do in the app is free. But once they realize, oh, you can get free software to do all the stuff we're offering with a subscription, like, are they going to pull the rest of the software back? Are they going to say, never mind, we're done being free now? A lot of companies will do that, where they will, it's that term again, enshittification, where they will release a thing that's cool and free, and then what happens? Either it becomes paid, or it becomes trash, because, you know, you're the product. If it's free, and they're not making any money off of it, something's sus there. And I'm not thinking that Canva is harvesting your data. I think it is much more likely that what they're doing is just offering it for free, and hoping that you will eventually agree to, oh, I like this software so much, I'll upgrade and pay their monthly subscription. I don't know, read the end-user license, though. Because they might very well be harvesting loads of your data to help offset the cost. I don't know. There's a really helpful tool if you're on Mac OS called Lulu that you can use to block individual applications' access to the internet. And I use it pretty frequently to do exactly that. So if you have an application that you install, what you can do is you can, when it starts up, you're going to immediately get a notification from Lulu saying, hey, this thing's trying to contact the internet. And you can tell it either yes or no, or give it temporary access. So for applications where you feel like, you know, you might be the way that they're making money by offering it for free, I'm not saying that they're doing that with this Affinity thing here, but like, let's say you feel like that's what's happening, download it, launch it, get it running, and then immediately block its internet access so it can never phone home again. And I don't know, maybe it checks every time you sign in. Never close the app. Or when you do close the app, give it internet access for like the 30 seconds it takes to phone home, and then block it again. That's the thing you could do. That's what I do with like most applications these days. Is I'm just like, oh, you want to phone home? Okay, I'll let you do it for a little bit here. You can also, if you have a VPN service or you run your own, you can set it up to where certain apps run through it. So those applications boot up, they request network access, you grant it to them. For the 30 seconds that they're phoning home, it looks like you're in like Norway. You signed up with the fake name. Again, you know, always obey the terms and service, blah, 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 blah. Hey, buddy, come here. Poor guy. I need to do more research into this thing here, though, because this is bothering me. I really liked Affinity Photo. I always liked that their claim was, you know, always yours to keep and all of that. And I don't blame them. I think it is Canva. I don't know if Canva bought them or they sold out or there was a licensing. I don't know what the situation is. I feel like I hate Canva, though, as a company. Very little experience with them at all, outside of the fact that they bought a thing that I like or somehow got their greasy paws all over a thing that I like, and I don't like what they're doing with it already. All these poor cows. Y'all just need to go to the neighboring island. There's plenty, and I mean plenty, of grass. That's not even a neighboring island. It's the same island. Just go right over there. You'll be fine. I'm looking at the pricing of Canva premium plans. Let's see what we've got here. Let's get judgmental. So if you want to get Affinity with all of the AI tools, it's $120 a year to rent AI tools that once you stop paying for, you'll lose access to. You will own nothing, and you will hate it, because it will be BS. You know what? No. Let me restate that. You will own nothing, and you will hate it, because it will all be bullshit. There you go. That's the honest truth. I will continue to use Affinity Photo 2. I might even download and try Affinity, the studio for free. But I will never pay you a dime to rent AI features. I've already got plenty of AI tools for generating images. Oh, it's a hassle to go out of, Affinity and generate them and then go back in. But you know what? It's also free, and I don't have to rent it. I'd buy it off of you. If you put out Affinity Photo 3, and this stuff was built in with the purchase price, yeah, I'd pay to upgrade. But I'm not renting it off of you. It's cool that it's free now, though. Like, assuming it doesn't get awful, it's kind of cool that it's free. So I'm probably going to download Studio and give that a shot. Give it a little try, give it a little look-see. Definitely keeping Affinity Photo 2 installed, though. Not uninstalling that. And again, I'm not paying a subscription. I'm just not going to. I don't care about the AI features. I don't even care if they're like the best ones out there. I'm not renting it. It also really upset me when Apple finally released Final Cut Pro on iPad, and it's a subscription. And I've heard people say, oh, but it's a cheap subscription. It doesn't matter. I'm not renting Final Cut Pro. It's an inferior version of a software I already own. A software that I bought over a decade ago. I think I bought Final Cut Pro in 2012. I thought for sure when they announced Final Cut Pro 11, I was like, okay, they're going to make me pay again. And at that point, I was like, you know what? Genuinely, that's fine. That's fine. It's been over a decade. I'll pay for the upgrade. No, it was a free upgrade. Best money I ever spent, Final Cut Pro. Fantastic software. Love it immensely. Love that it just got free upgrades. But I would pay for a new version. I'm willing to at this point. I've definitely gotten my money's worth out of it. I say I'd love to pay for it. I'd rather not. But if it was like a big substantial difference with a ton of changes, and it was just like overall had a bunch of really great new features that I couldn't imagine ever not having, I'd pay for it. I appreciate that they don't charge for it. And I'll tell you what else. I'm not paying a licensing fee. The day it becomes like rented software, the day Apple decides, hey, this is working out on the iPad, let's go ahead and Final Cut Pro 12 is now a license fee. No, screw you. No, I'm done. I will try to figure out how some other software works. I say try. I tried using the is it the Black Magic? Is that who makes it? I'm trying to remember now. Who makes the one that everyone talks about? It's the one that everyone loves. I cannot remember the name of it. Not the Adobe one. I'd rather be castrated than use their terrible video editing software. Everyone uses Premiere. Yeah, but Premiere sucks, so why do people use it? Well, everyone uses it. Why does everyone use it? It's because everyone uses it. It's the industry standard. Why is it the industry standard? Because everyone uses it. Why does everyone use it? Because it's the industry standard. I've never heard anyone say they liked Premiere. I've never heard anyone say that. They just use it because they have to, and they think they like it because they don't know better. I would argue the average Sony Vegas user has more love and appreciation for their software. And I don't use Sony Vegas, but I hear people talk fondly of it. DaVinci Resolve is the one I was thinking of. I tried using DaVinci Resolve. The nodes confused me, and not having all the keyboard shortcuts down. Once I spent about 30 minutes trying to make an intro to a video, and I was like, man, I could have been done with the video by now. And I was like, we'll come back to this. I just never went back to it. But I'll tell you what, having tried it, that's going to be my go-to now if Apple ever try. They don't charge the subscription, do they? I believe it's paid software. No matter where you go in the world, someone out there has paid software. Every time one titan falls to the nonsense that is software rental, another one rises in its place to say, hey, you can just buy this from us, and maybe it's a lot of money up front, but if you decide not to buy the upgrade next year, you get to keep the software you already paid for. By the way, I think I've now removed all of the dirt from the island. Now, granted, we did kind of not notice that this segment of the island over here is also connected. I thought it was a different island, but it's very clearly connected in two different places, which makes this some strange freshwater lake, because it is not connected to the ocean. Well, that's a river out there, not an ocean, so I take that back, but yeah, has this upgraded? Oh my goodness, it has they did, is what I meant to say, and it, oh, hold on, what is that right there? Don't call me a liar, I just didn't realize. Where is it? Here we go. Oh my gosh, there's a bunch of dirt down here. This is an unexpected find. Curious indeed, but there you go. There's that taken care of. There we are. So the only grass remaining here is underneath the portal, which we could get rid of if we just wanted to replace it with, I don't know, stone, maybe stone stairs, which I think we would like to eventually. I don't have a stone cutter on me right now to make that possible, but how did we come along here? How did we come along? So we got this chest full of random stuff. And then we got this chest here, also full of random stuff. And then we got this chest here, also full of random stuff. And we got this chest here, just starting to fill up with random stuff. Turns out channeling your inner rage is a great way to get projects done quickly. You mad about something? You mad about Epic Games? You mad about Affinity Photo? Be mad, bro. Just be mad. And channel it into collecting dirt. I think we've got enough dirt for now. Hopefully enough to finish this project in the nether, on the roof of the nether. We're pretty close to finishing our road. And then once we finish the road, it's just the ziggurat. Are we going to consider that necessary for completion? We still haven't finished the portal next to our house that leads to the roof of the nether. And now we know, based on that creeper surprise attack a couple of weeks ago, that we need to surround all of the portals in the overworld with fences and lighting to prevent that exact thing from happening in the future. Because that's going to be a little bit of a nuisance if we walk out of portals and get attacked. Also, yeah, a lot of these, we need to take away the surrounding... But basically, the next stage of the operation is going to be working our way down here. Now, what we did up here maybe represents 1/3 of the total length of this road. So we've got to do this 2 more times to build all of this up. And then we have to worry about clearing away the little square areas we made around a lot of these portals. And figuring out how we're going to wire them in, because I guess we're going to bring that around and have it connect up too. Might be a big, long connection there. I don't know. There's a lot of dirt's going to be required and a lot of time. Oh, I dread it. You shouldn't dread playing a video game. That's not how video games should be. But this game has turned into work. This is like part-time labor, essentially. I'm proud of what we've accomplished, though. I've got to say, for part-time labor, I'm pretty pleased with how it's all shaping up. We've had a pretty good year in Minecraft. Gotta do something about that happening. Until next time, though, thank you folks for watching. God bless each and every single one of you. I did just get a little burned. I'll see you later. Bye!